True love is one of the most mysterious and profound themes of human experience. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, saw love not just as a fleeting emotion, but as a psychological and spiritual phenomenon that reflects our inner journey. To him, true love was not an idealized or romanticized state, but a process of transformation in which we confront our own shadow and discover the wholeness of our being. But how does this love manifest in real life? How can we recognize its presence and distinguish it from attachment or illusion? Jung proposed that human beings undergo a process called individuation, the path to becoming a complete and authentic self. True love is one of the most powerful catalysts for this process. This is because love not only connects us with another person, but also forces us to face our vulnerabilities, fears, and hidden traumas. When we fall in love, we often project unconscious aspects of ourselves onto the other person. This phenomenon, which Jung called projection, makes us idealize our partner, attributing to them qualities that actually belong to us but that we have yet to recognize. Over time, projection fades, leading to a decisive moment. Either the relationship strengthens and evolves into a more mature and genuine love, or it crumbles under the weight of unrealistic expectations. True love, then, is not about finding perfection, but about deeply accepting the other as they truly are, while also serving as a mirror that helps us see who we really are. Jung emphasized that, to love truly, we must first integrate our own shadow, the repressed and unknown aspects of our psyche. This means that many of the difficulties and conflicts we face in relationships do not stem from the other person, but from parts of ourselves we have yet to accept. When we ignore our shadow, we project our insecurities onto our partner. We demand impossible perfection, blame them for our own frustrations, and seek in them what we have not yet found within ourselves. True love, then, does not seek an emotional crutch in the other, but rather a genuine partnership where both are willing to grow together while facing the shadows that emerge along the way. This requires deep self-awareness, for without it, we risk repeating destructive cycles and mistaking love for mere passion or emotional dependence. But how does true love manifest in daily life? It does not reveal itself in grand, dramatic gestures, but in small acts of care, patience, and acceptance. It is expressed when we choose to understand rather than judge, when we stand by each other in difficult times, when we grow together without losing our essence. True love does not imprison or control, it liberates and strengthens. In this way, true love is not just a feeling, but a transformative force that pushes us to become the most authentic versions of ourselves. For Jung, true love requires a direct confrontation with the ego, that aspect of the psyche that defines our conscious identity, but also creates illusions of separation. The ego craves control, security, and recognition. In love, it manifests as the need to be right, the desire to change the other, or the tendency to project our frustrations onto the relationship. When love is dominated by the ego, it becomes a pursuit of external validation rather than a genuine sense of connection. True love, on the other hand, demands a surrender that challenges the ego. This does not mean submission or the loss of individuality, but rather an openness to the other without fear of vulnerability. Jung believed that we can only truly love when we transcend the limited view of me versus the other and see the relationship as a shared journey of growth and discovery. This overcoming of the ego does not happen all at once, but over time, as we learn to love without possessiveness, to accept without demanding forced change, and to respect the other as an independent being. True love allows both partners to grow together without the need to control or mold the other to fit personal expectations. Another essential aspect of true love is its ability to heal deep emotional wounds. We often enter relationships carrying scars from the past, family traumas, and insecurities that shape the way we connect with others. Jung saw love as a space where these wounds can be brought to light and transformed. However, this healing only happens when there is a mutual willingness for self-awareness and acceptance. This means that true love does not avoid conflict. It faces it with maturity and courage. Many people believe that a healthy relationship should be free of disagreements, but the truth is that growth only occurs when there is space for honest dialogue and emotional expression. The challenge lies in learning to handle differences without resorting to blame or avoidance. In this sense, love becomes a kind of psychological alchemy, where our shadows are illuminated and transformed. A relationship based on true love is not a refuge to escape from oneself, but a fertile ground for self-development. Popular culture often sells us the idea of love as possession or dependency. Without you, I am nothing. I need someone to complete me. This type of narrative reinforces the belief that love should fill an inner void. However, Jung would argue that true love does not seek to fill gaps, but to expand consciousness. The love that liberates is the one that allows us to be who we truly are, without masks or fear. It does not suffocate or imprison, but encourages authenticity. Instead of control, there is trust. Instead of need, there is choice. True love is a daily decision to walk side by side, knowing that each person is complete on their own, but that together they can create something greater than their separate individualities. Another fundamental aspect of true love is its ability to evolve. Many people believe that love must remain intense and passionate forever, but this is a romanticized view that ignores the cyclical nature of relationships. Jung teaches us that every process of transformation involves phases, and love is no exception. At the beginning of a relationship, we are often overwhelmed by passion, a state in which we project our idealizations onto the other. This period, often called the honeymoon phase, is not necessarily false, but it does not represent the entirety of love. Over time, the idealization fades, creating an opportunity for a deeper love based on the acceptance of the other's reality. This is a decisive moment, as many people mistake the end of initial passion for the end of love, when in fact, it is merely a transition to a more mature connection. True love does not fade with time. It transforms. It shifts from the intensity of passion to the depth of companionship, from impulsive desire to serene affection, from idealization to acceptance. This transition can be challenging because it requires letting go of illusions and facing truths. But those who understand this dynamic and are willing to grow together discover a love far richer than the initial excitement could ever offer. Jung introduced an essential concept for understanding relationship dynamics, the archetypes of anima and animus. According to him, within every man exists an unconscious feminine side, anima, and within every woman, an unconscious masculine side, animus. These aspects represent psychological qualities that we often project onto our partners. For example, a man may fall in love with a woman who embodies qualities he has not yet developed in himself, such as sensitivity, intuition, or emotional connection. Likewise, a woman may be drawn to a man who reflects aspects she has yet to integrate, such as rationality, strength, or objectivity. The problem arises when these projections go unrecognized. The person believes they need the other to feel complete, without realizing they are actually seeking to integrate parts of themselves. True love manifests when we stop projecting and begin to recognize these qualities within ourselves. This allows us to see our partner for who they truly are, rather than merely as a reflection of our own unconscious needs. A relationship based on true love is one in which both partners help each other integrate their repressed aspects, fostering inner balance. One of the greatest illusions about true love is the belief that it must be grand or extraordinary all the time. However, genuine love reveals itself in the smallest daily gestures, in silent care, in patience during hardships, in the choice to remain present even when circumstances are less than ideal. True love does not need exaggerated displays to prove its existence. It is found in attentive listening, in unconditional support, in the willingness to understand rather than judge. It expresses itself in respecting the individuality of the other, in the desire to see one's partner grow, and in embracing challenges as opportunities for mutual learning. When we understand this, we realize that true love is not a destination, but a journey. It is not a fixed state, but a dynamic process, a dance between two souls who, in coming together, do not lose their essence, but expand it. For Jung, true love is not just a relationship between two people. It is a reflection of each individual's journey toward the self, the wholeness of being. This means that to truly love someone, one must first cultivate deep self-love, not in a selfish sense, but in terms of self-knowledge and integration. Many relationships fail because partners seek in the other what they have not yet found within themselves. They create unrealistic expectations, hoping the other will fill an inner void, heal their insecurities, or give meaning to their existence. But true love does not arise from lack. It comes from fullness. It emerges when two people, already connected to their essence, choose to share their lives not out of need, but out of choice. This does not mean we must be completely resolved before we can love. In fact, love is one of the most powerful paths to self-discovery, as it confronts us with our wounds and unconscious patterns. But when we enter a relationship seeking wholeness through the other, it becomes a cycle of frustration where no one will ever be enough to fill what can only be found within. One of the hallmarks of true love is freedom. This may seem contradictory, as love is often associated with possession, rigid commitment, or dependence. However, authentic love does not imprison, it expands. Jung teaches that every healthy relationship respects the individuality of both partners. This means that while there is a shared journey, each person maintains their own path, dreams, and identity. True love does not require one person to diminish themselves for the relationship to work. On the contrary, it strengthens individuality, because a partner who feels free to be their true self is capable of loving more deeply and genuinely. True love also understands that there are no absolute guarantees. It is not sustained by fear of loss, but by the daily decision to be present, to build, and to grow together. This does not mean it is unstable or fleeting, but rather that it is lived with awareness, without illusions of forced permanence. Jung saw love as a mirror of the psyche. What attracts us to another person often reflects qualities we seek to develop within ourselves. Likewise, what bothers us in a partner can be a sign of our own unacknowledged shadows. This is why true love requires us to look inward. When conflicts arise, the question should not only be, what did the other person do wrong? But also, what does this situation reveal about me? True love transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, understanding that every disagreement is an invitation to greater self-awareness and emotional maturity. This perspective on love helps us break free from blame shifting and encourages us to take responsibility for our own development within the relationship. This does not mean tolerating toxic or abusive dynamics, but recognizing that true love demands a level of maturity beyond romantic idealizations. In the end, true love is not a fixed state or an unattainable ideal. It is a continuous process of discovery, acceptance, and transformation. It manifests when two souls, aware of both their light and their shadows, choose to walk together without losing themselves along the way. To love truly is an act of courage, as it requires us to let go of illusions, face our vulnerabilities, and open ourselves to the experience of another without trying to shape them to fit our desires. It is a love that acknowledges imperfection, yet chooses, despite everything, to stay. If there is one essential lesson from Jung about love, it is this: we can only love truly when we are willing to know, integrate, and accept ourselves. Because love is not something we find outside. It is a force that awakens within us and expresses itself in how we relate to the world. And in this way, true love becomes not just an encounter with another, but a reunion with who we have always been.